Hi guys, my name is Harry and I upload weekly videos on a Sunday. I try and answer difficult questions and weigh up the pros and cons of each question to help you try and come to a decision or not come to a decision at all, just to give you the pros and cons of a situation. Thank you very much for watching, and if you do enjoy my videos, be sure to subscribe. Should abortion be illegal? That is the question today, and that is the question I've been trying to answer today. Should abortion be legal or should it be illegal? I'm going to be weighing up the pros and cons of this argument, and I'll be giving my personal opinion at the end. Okay, so pros of abortion. Is it correct in being legal? The main arguments for this is that it should be legal because young people do get pregnant, and that is a fact of life. Is that young people do have sex, and they do mess up, and sometimes they have unprotected sex, and then that does lead to them becoming pregnant, which obviously isn't a very good thing at all. So this is why they need abortion, to be able to get rid of the baby, because if you're having sex and you become pregnant at the age of 16, then that is not a good thing at all. You're 16 and you're going to be wasting the rest of your life if you have a child. But then on the other side, I mean, if you do become pregnant at 16, isn't it your own fault? I mean, if you're having sex at 16 unprotected, that is kind of your own fault. So this is where it comes pros and cons. I mean, yes, you had sex and you are pregnant, but I mean, it's your own fault because you shouldn't have had that unprotected sex, then should you? It is technically your own fault. But then, if abortion was illegal, it would ruin the 16-year-old's life for the rest. It would ruin their life because they wouldn't be able to get any education, and if their parents aren't very helpful and kick them out, then they're out on the streets with a child. And especially if the boyfriend runs off as well, then they are pretty much stuck, and they don't have a clue what to do. And then that's how they get into benefits, and then that's how they live off the benefits, which is another story. But yeah, it can ruin someone's life if you do not have an abortion. Then the pro-life people would be saying that it wouldn't ruin your life. It is a blessing from God. This is where you get into religious now. It is a blessing from God, and abortion should be illegal because God has given you the power to make that baby. It has given you the power to make that baby, and it shouldn't be used stupidly. You have been lucky. It is very, very. It's not a very small chance, but it's quite a small chance in the sense that you become pregnant. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, people try for ages and ages. Nothing wrong with them. They just don't try at the right time, or something that the egg and the sperm don't mix together, and they don't become pregnant. So, why is it that someone who becomes pregnant so easily should be like, oh, I don't want it. I just don't want it. I'll chuck it away. I'll kill it. Essentially, that is what you are doing. You are killing a living thing. This is where the people who say abortion should be illegal is coming into it. I mean, they say life starts at the moment of conception. So as soon as that sperm and that egg meet and they form, that is life. That is an embryo. That is the start of life, and you should not be killing that at all. Which you can kind of see why. I mean, it is murder, basically. And it's I've got a fact here. More than 58 million innocent babies were cruelly torn from their mothers' wombs. That is quite a vicious way in putting it, but it is essentially saying that 58 million innocent babies have been killed since abortion had been made legal, or possibly more. I mean, just think about that, right? 58 million babies, 58 million lives, 58 million lives. That's what you don't understand. Lives. I mean, this could be your life. 58 million lives had been killed, and it's not. This is where you're not sure whether is it murder. Like, is it the right thing to do? Well, no, of course it's not the right thing to do, because it is murder essentially. I mean, you are killing a child in a womb, and you are murdering it. But then this is then people who say abortion is the right thing. I mean, you look at the amount of people who are on benefits, who are on the streets, who have a kid because they couldn't have an abortion, and then they can't support that child. They physically can't support it, so the child is living a terrible life. It is brought up in a terrible, terrible life, and it is not happy at all. Which you can see why that maybe abortion is the right thing. Also, what happens if that girl was raped? Like, if that girl is raped in the street and she becomes pregnant, do you really think that she would want a child from a rapist? I mean, that is where abortion should be made legal. Which is where you think that controlled abortion, maybe that is the way forward. Maybe you shouldn't just allow abortion outright. Whenever you have sex and you become pregnant, abortion. If you don't want it, you can have an abortion free of charge off the NHS. But then it's like, maybe you should have controlled abortion. Maybe you should have, in certain circumstances, where rape, essentially, if there is rape, then yes, maybe you should have an abortion, obviously. But then when you're out one night and you recklessly have unprotected sex, then maybe you shouldn't be having an abortion because you knew the risks beforehand and you went ahead and took them anyway. I mean, it is the pros and cons of it, isn't it? But then I've got another one here that if I got another fact, abortion is this is where abortion should be made illegal. This is saying that off lifedynamics.com, they compiled a list of 347 women who were killed by legal abortions since 1973. So abortions are unsafe. I mean, 347 women have been killed since 1973. But then on the flip side of that, 1973 is a very, very long time ago. I mean, you're talking 40 odd years ago. I mean, obviously the hospitals, the medicine and all that was not up to the standard that it is nowadays. It is not the same as it is nowadays. So nowadays is a lot more safer to have an abortion than it is back in 1973. So obviously these figures, you have to take into account the 40 years that space that has been. And I'd probably guess that these are 347 women, about 50, maybe even 75% of them were before the 1990s, at least. I mean, that's what you're looking at. So it really is swings around about, and which is why it's such a hot topic to discuss about, because abortion, I mean, in America, Donald Trump is saying that he's all pro-life and you should ban abortion outright. But then, as I've discussed here, obviously, if you're raped or if something bad happens and you do become pregnant because of that, then you should have a right, because it is your legal right as a human being to have an abortion. It is human rights. If you do not want that child, then you should have an abortion. But then, all the religious people who are Christians, Catholics, they are saying that if you do have sex and you do become pregnant, then the best thing you can do, if you really don't want it, I think they say, well, I think if you really don't want it and you do become pregnant, then you should have the baby, have the child, and if you still don't want it after that, put it up for adoption, because you are killing a living being right there when you have an abortion. I mean, it is murder. I mean, people have been sent to jail because they are murdering people. Well, why shouldn't you be sent to jail? Why shouldn't you be sent to jail? Because you are essentially murdering a child by abortion. I mean, it is a really tough question, and it is swings around, and this is why it's always going to be discussed. I generally don't think that the world will ever come to a decision where they'll fall down on one side. There'll never be one person. There'll never be a whole world or whole country. I mean, whole world's a bit extreme, but a whole country agreed on one thing, where they say abortion is the right thing or abortion is wrong. You're never gonna fall down onto one side. You're always going to have the people who say abortion is right or abortion is wrong. In my opinion, I believe that abortion is right in certain circumstances. That's why I believe in controlled abortion. I believe that abortion should be allowed when you are raped or when something bad happens. Not when you go out to a party and you get slightly drunk and you think you're hard and then you have unprotected sex and then you become pregnant as that. You have these sex education classes to talk to you about this and about all the worries and all the dangers of having unprotected sex. I mean, that is why the government funds so much money into school and into the sex education program, because of this. So I believe that controlled abortion is fine. I do believe that controlled abortion is what you should have. You shouldn't ban it outright, because banning it outright would just be a big mistake. A really big mistake. Because people will not be happy, and I will be on the side of them, because you shouldn't be happy, because it is a choice you should be able to make, but in certain circumstances. This is where I'm kind of sitting on the fence. But yeah, that is what I think. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please press the like button and subscribe, and have a discussion in the comments. Talk about it in the comments, and I want to hear what you think about this I can't pronounce the word, conscientious question. I want to hear what you think about it, and I want to see whether you agree with me or whether you disagree with me, because I really want a good debate getting on in the comments, and then I'll join in. I might join in as well. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you want me to, if you have any ideas on any other questions you want me to answer, mention it down in the comments again. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you in the next video.